the senator, while indoctrinated, could not explain his toxicity.
You should not listen to men's rights advocates if you want to know what they have to say.
Coming to you live from deep within an icy, radioactive wasteland. This is Honey Badger Radio. Wading into battle again against the zombie hordes. Or the lobster hordes. Or the froggy hordes.
Or the snowy hordes.
Or the snowy hordes. Snowy? Okay, well, whatever. Rantzerker, number
Yeti hordes.
118. 118. Stunning and brave. Michael Williams. My right to choose is how I won this.
Michelle Williams.
Oh, Michelle. Sorry. Oh, well, are you assuming? Are you assuming her pronunciation?
Gender? Yeah, her gender and all of that. Yeah, no, but it's, it's just to let you know, we just had a 15 centimeter dump of snow here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been lovely. I'm probably going to be the first person to die of heat exhaustion during a cold snap, because in order to keep my windshield from freezing over and my windshield wipers actually functional, I need to blast the heat in the car so bad that it almost makes me pass out while driving. It's really great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and well, actually, we're excited about the snow because soon we'll get to snowmobile again.
Yeah, but you don't have the minus 30 to minus 40 cold snap coming necessarily.
Well, we might, because we usually get what you get a couple days after you get it. So
yeah, well, you can have it.
All right, there. So Brian, let's do this. I mean, we can talk about the shitty weather as much as we want, but let's talk about this.
Okay, so
delightful individual.
I should set this up just for in case people don't know, and for those of you guys who are listening on the podcast. So I think last weekend we had the Golden Globe Awards. No one knew about it. Nobody watched, really.
We speculate that it occurred, but we can't know for sure because no one cares.
The only reason why we know that it happened is because Ricky Gervais is not going to be invited to host it again.
Exactly.
That's the only reason we are even aware of its existence. So
yeah. So yes, you guys know about the Ricky Gervais thing. We talked about it earlier in the week. But then there's this other thing. So even though Ricky Gervais said, get your little award, thank your agent, thank your God, and fuck off, there was still virtue signaling that went on.
Yeah.
So
he was like, don't make political speeches. You're no one to talk, right? You're no one to moralize. You're no one to talk. You're no one to essentially make political statements because you're all fucking horrible people, which is why he's not going to be invited back, by the way. And you can tell the assholes from the non-assholes in the audience by who was laughing and who was not at those jokes. But so he just essentially said, please don't make any political speeches because nobody's buying it. Just thank your agent, thank your God, and then fuck off. Yeah. And honestly, I think he's right. I think we've lost the plot when it comes to Hollywood awards shows, the Robert De Niro appearances, even when he gave a commencement speech at some graduation, all he had to say was, oh, everything's horrible and Trump is turning America into a fascist state and blah blah blah. And it's just that's a really hopeful message to give to a bunch of kids who just got their degrees and shit, right?
Yeah.
So
get up to the podium, ooze your way up to the podium, get your self-serving award, ooze your way back to your I wanted to say degenerate, but then they probably call me a fascist for saying that. Degenerate lives.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
all you people paid to act like someone else, to pretend that you're somebody else.
Yeah, and if you look at the sort of the actual level of degeneracy in Hollywood, right?
Yeah,
all of the people who turned a blind eye to what Weinstein was doing and all of that stuff, right? And oh yeah, you're gonna preach the morality to the rest of us. It's just like pretty fucking stupid.
It is
Yeah.
amazing how Hollywood managed to turn Me Too from pretty much one of their lowest points, even though all of the accusations against Weinstein are sort of falling apart a little bit. But
Yeah,
it
they're
turned
kind of
their lowest
very
moment.
gray.
Yeah, they're very gray. I mean, it's still really unsavory, but they turned their lowest moment and turned it into a platform to preach at the rest of us. Isn't that astounding?
I know.
You
It's
have
like
to give a props, eh, for
we
that
let
180.
we
That
just
Uno
let this
card or no reverse card, eh?
yeah, we just let this go on for like 25 fucking years and just did nothing but throw this guy money and power while he was doing this in where everybody could see it, and we just nobody blew the whistle on him because money and power is nice, and he has money and power because we gave it to him, and we'd like a piece of his money and power, and if we blow the whistle on him, he's not going to give it to us. And so like what do you expect us to do? I mean, Jesus.
Expect us to act with integrity, but it isn't it astounding that I did that reverse Uno on the rest of us?
Oh yeah, no, and it's
you
like,
guys were the sleazeballs, but it's really all of our fault, right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
Okay. So I'm going to get into it. You're not going to see any video. This is just an image of Michelle Williams because NBC has been cracking down hard as fuck on people who have put clips from the Golden Globes. Dick Clark Productions. Yes. Dick Clark Productions.
Can I just make a comment before we continue, though? Because this is the perfect image. I'm glad you chose this one. She looks like a little girl.
Yeah.
She's been spanked by daddy.
Oh, yeah, no, her chin's tucked into her neck, right?
She's looking up underneath her brows.
Yeah.
She's got the...
she's very cherubic.
The 20s housewife.
Flapper girl look.
Well, it's not even a flapper girl.
Like a housewife thing.
A housewife look.
Well, but she's also very cherub-like, right?
Yeah. She was in, she's best known for Dawson's Creek, right? Some show on the sea. I don't know what she's been doing lately because I don't follow her career. But...
when I was fatter than average, the actress body type would have been considered completely... there would have been one in all of network TV that looked like her. And she would probably be the fat, funny sidekick. And yet now this seems to be the average. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to point that out. It's just really interesting.
I don't really mind that. I don't mind that they have, one of the things when I watch shows, is when I see that, people look like normal people. Like, so Amazon Prime's series, Jack Ryan, right? He just looks like an average guy with a slightly big nose. He's not like a super stud, right? I like that, right?
Brzezinski.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that there are people out there. The dude who played the Ant-Man, right?
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he just looks like an average guy. The dude who plays the guy in the Avengers, the dude with the raccoon friend.
Chris
he
Pratt.
Was in Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Okay.
Chris
Yeah,
Pratt.
just looks like an average guy. He's like, he had to like get a good body, but when he started in show business, he didn't have a good body. He was a total pudge in Parks and Recreation.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I like that there are people who just look like normal people in Hollywood.
It's funny.
I really appreciate that.
It's funny you should mention that, and then we really should get into the video. But it's funny you should mention that because what I've noticed is that Hollywood and the entertainment industry at large, they don't necessarily. What we're realizing is that sexy people are not chosen to be sexy or decided on as being sexy because they are higher than average attractiveness. I think in the entertainment industry, they actually can take people they like and make them into sex symbols, but they're actually kind of normal. Like Paul Rudd, the guy you were talking about, he is seen as a sex symbol, as a very attractive man. But I think part of it is the fact that he has he's Paul Rudd, and so like it's like the fame has made him attractive. Does that make sense?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it is the fact. Well, I mean, he would
because
be
like look at there's like the running joke that I would have. I saw like this feminist. She put out a tweet saying, "How is it incels are a thing?" Or why is it incels? Oh no, something like imagine being an incel and being angry at women while Danny DeVito exists. And her argument was that Danny DeVito is short, overweight, balding, and like below average attractiveness, and yet he gets laid, and incels don't. And I made a comment saying that I told her, I said, look, you don't understand. There's a difference between being Danny DeVito and just looking like Danny DeVito. And that's the that's it's just like the Steve Buscemi. I used to say the same thing. I have a friend who looks like Steve Buscemi, but he's not Steve Buscemi, so he doesn't do that well with the ladies. And so that's the same thing. Like this average guy that becomes like, they make it into the, what is it, People magazine, Sexiest Man Alive, or whatever the magazine is. Those men, most of the time, they are average attractiveness, but they're famous, so they get catapulted into the stratosphere. And imagine being an average guy.
They're not average. They're above average, but they're not like, they're a solid 7 or 8. They're not like a 9 or a 10. No.
Yeah. And I think also, like, if any of us became Hollywood famous, for any average person that even a below average person that you might know, the industry has a way of cranking up your attractiveness by surrounding you with people whose only job is to make you look as good as possible. So if I had a team of people working on my diet, working on my exercise, my fashion, my makeup, whatever, I don't wear makeup, but they probably do that, then I could probably look completely different from the guy that is sitting here in this chair. And I think that's just something that you have to consider. The more about that the more average and, sort of shallow or hollow is a better word, the people in Hollywood become, because you just understand that reality, So.
Yeah. No, and it's, there is a thing. There are some women who get roles who, women who are not very attractive. I mean, the chick from God, what was it? From Misery.
Oh yeah, Kathy Bates.
Yeah, Kathy Bates. I mean, she gets roles and all that. It's not going to make her sexier, right? But she gets roles. She gets work. And, but for men, I think it's more the fame and the fortune and the success is more transformative for men in terms of making them attractive, making them fuckable, than it is for women. That's just how evolutionary psychology works. You have women who find Ian McKellen hot. You don't have people beating down or you had women who starlets who fucked the frickin' America walks softly and carries a big stick, Kissinger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starlets who fucked that guy, right? No soccer players were beating down frickin' Madeleine Albright's bedroom door. It's just the reality, right?
Yeah.
And so this idea, but I do like the fact that, when I see a show where not every freaking character is super hot, they're usually above average, but they're not 9s or 10s. That I actually appreciate. So
yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's get into the video. So I guess what I wanted to ask, is it okay if I play this at regular speed? Or should I alter the speed in any way to like maybe further defend ourselves against the,
Regular speed should be fine.
Okay, I'm going to play the clip then. First 30 seconds of Michelle Williams' speech.
Thank you so much. First of all, to my Fosse Verdon family and to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. When you put this in someone's hands, you're acknowledging the choices that they make as an actor, moment by moment, scene by scene, day by day, but you're also acknowledging the choices they make as a person. the education they pursued, the training they sought, the hours they put in. I'm grateful for the acknowledgement of the choices I've made, and I'm also grateful to have lived at a moment in our society where choice exists.
All right, I'm pausing at the banana point,
Oh my
but
God.
go ahead if you want to say
No.
something.
This is so stupid. This is so stupid. No, you're being rewarded for a performance in a specific work, right? Now, what you had to do, right? Whether you just got pulled off the street like Jimon Hunsu, right? Who was spotted by, or Natasha Henstridge or whatever her name is, the chick from Species, right? You know, like that. Was it Natasha? No, it wasn't. Henstridge. Henstridge. Yeah.
It was,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know, like one of those people who gets spotted by somebody, some modeling agent on the street, just walking around and says, "We want to make you a model. Like, you are amazing. You are like a perfect freaking 10." And then you graduate from that into acting jobs, right? So for Henstridge, it was Species, it was the whole 9 yards, it was a whole bunch of other things, right? For Jimon Hunsu, it was Blood Diamond, it was Gladiator, it was, you know, a bunch of other things as well. And he
Yeah.
did really well in them. I
He
don't think
basically
that
plays.
he
basically plays all the Africans, all of them.
Yeah, and well, when Forrest Whitaker's not available, I guess. But you know, like it's they didn't go to acting school. They didn't freaking do any of. They didn't put in any of the you know, the work and the education. They just had a talent. They were able to market, and they capitalized on that, right? So, I mean, to say that, you know, you're not just recognizing my performance in this one work, you're recognizing everything it took me to get to this point. Well, when some people don't really have to do anything to get to that point, you know, even Jason Statham, right? He was just kind of, he started off modeling and graduated to acting, and it was, I don't know that he has any training in acting. He just freaking did it. And so,
It isn't apparent that he did. I like him. He doesn't have a whole lot of range though, but
no, of course he doesn't, but he's good in the roles that he plays, right? The roles
I
that he's
just wanna-
picked for.
So she's basically she's saying everybody needs to thank Harry Weinstein as well.
Harvey.
Oh, whatever. Harvey, one of the pod people, the one that was particularly degenerate and skeezy. We should all thank him for this award as well.
Well, no, she's not saying that. She's just essentially saying you're
she
also
no, seriously, he was part of her being discovered. I'm almost certain, because she thanked him in 2012.
Oh. Well, there you go. But I mean, like, it's just like she's saying, well, like, it's all this work that I put in. It's like, no, not necessarily, right? It's not necessarily a bunch of work and education and you know, who you are as a person, right? You're here to play a role. We don't like actors for who they are. If that was the case, right? Given Robert De Niro's like descent into freaking Trump derangement syndrome, I would never be able to watch another Robert De Niro movie again, because I would be judging him by who he is as a person, not how well he plays the role.
okay. But we haven't gotten to the juicy part. So we're gonna play the next clip here. 30 more seconds.
Because as women and as girls, things can happen to our bodies that are not our choice. I've tried my very best to live a life of my own making, not just a series of events that happened to me, but one that I could stand back and look at and recognize my handwriting all over, sometimes messy and scrawling, sometimes careful and precise, but one that I had carved with my own hand, and I wouldn't have been able to do this without employing a woman's right to choose.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Was
Really?
she raped? What?
I don't know. I don't know if she was raped, but I know she had an abortion. And it's like she had an abortion according to her because having a baby would interfere with her career. She wouldn't be able to be standing there receiving that award if she hadn't aborted that child.
Well, certainly this is something I want to know about.
Well, like, why would you? Oh, God. Okay, like I can understand making choices, right? I can understand you have the option available, and you're like, okay, and I'm going to opt for this rather than that, and because that is going to put the kibosh on this, right? And so it's like but it's not something to celebrate. It's something that's unfortunate. It's something that you should be like, yeah, no, there but for the grace of everybody should be saying, there but for the grace of God go I. I never want to be in that position. I never want to place myself in that position. And we don't know. Maybe she's hinting at, maybe she aborted Harvey fucking Weinstein's baby and she's trying to renegotiate the casting couch as non-consensual, because she had to do it. I don't fucking know.
I mean, you can speculate a lot of things. I think it's just basically she had consensual sex with someone, apparently wasn't careful enough with her birth control because you can, and if you think that there is going to be some kind of issue, you can also get the morning after pills too. But all of that was not sufficient. And the other thing is that if she knew that this was going to happen, why wasn't she more careful?
She told her agent
and it
she
really,
would. She told her
the funny
agent.
thing is that she wants to say her life is her own responsibility, but she's not taking responsibility for having gotten pregnant, which in many ways is a result. Sorry, my cat has decided that your dog isn't, it needs to be competed with for being distracting and
Wait, whose
loud
dog?
and obnoxious.
Yeah, my dog is not here.
No, I know, but I'm in general.
I put
She's
the two
made this
dogs-
decision that she's just not going to allow me to talk to the microphone at all.
But
She's
I put my dogs in the snuggle box together.
I should probably put her in the snuggle box with the cat she hates. Huh?
Yeah,
What do you
no,
think of
that's-
that? I'll go put you in the snuggle box with Simon.
There you go. Okay, Brian,
All right, I'm gonna go do that.
I was just gonna say that she did. I think I believe Michelle Williams told her agent she would kill for this part, and she meant it.
Oh.
All right, but anyway, let's hear the next 30 seconds.
Okay.
Ass Queen.
To choose when to have my children and with whom, when I felt supported and able to balance our lives, knowing as all mothers know that the scales must and will tip towards our children. Now, I know my choices.
Oh, you fucking bitch. We all know that as, potential mothers, the scales will and must tip towards our children. But not if we kill them. Then we're good. Then it's all fine.
And why did this have to be public?
Yeah, I know. This is
I mean, I think we're both pro-choice, but also pro some things are private and should remain private.
I'm not even pro some things are private, right? Like
Okay,
I
well,
understand.
I don't want to know about this woman's sex life. I don't want to know about her reproduction. I don't want to know about anything that comes out of her genitals or in. I would prefer that she'd simply act, receive her reward, and go schlep. Like, why do I even have to know about these aspects of her life?
I'm just like, how can you essentially say that the choice that was made is something worth celebrating? It's not. It's unfortunate. I'm pro-choice, but I have to hold my nose to be pro-choice, right? Because I see women who they're not careful. They don't avoid pregnancy. And then they're like, yeah, I shouldn't have to live with the consequences of my carelessness. And then they go to that solution and they scrape a baby out of their uterus, right, and suction it out and in pieces, and then go on with their lives. And I'm like, there was that scene in The Witcher. Allison, have you been watching The Witcher?
I've watched it all. In fact, I'm
Okay.
actually liking the change of topic from this
That's
woman's abortion to The Witcher.
Well, but I'm going to be talking about the woman's abortion in The Witcher, right? Remember when she
Hold on,
went
hold
from
on. I'm gonna step away because I don't want to be spoiled. I haven't seen it yet. I'll be right back.
Okay, step away, step away. Remember when she decided that she wanted to be beautiful. She wanted to not be a hunchback with a crooked jaw, right? She wanted to be beautiful, and she had gotten pregnant. And
No, I don't think she'd gotten pregnant. She just was
no,
sacrificing her
watch
ability.
the scene. Watch the scene again.
Okay.
She had sex with the black guy, right? In front of everybody. She had gotten pregnant, and then she went to the guy who is like the fashion guy. He makes dresses that will make her look good at court, but he also has magical powers that can transform her body, right? And she says, I want you to do it. I'm willing to pay the price. And he says, I'll get the herbs to put you under for the procedure. And she says, no, you don't need to. I want to be awake for this. And then he goes between her legs. Her feet are in the stirrups. He goes between her legs. He draws out a kind of a mangled bundle of bloody tissue, right? Burns it, makes some freaking, then puts it in a mortar and pestle, right? And then paints all over her body with it. And that was what transformed her into a beautiful woman, aborting her child and choosing to become sterile for the rest of her life. This is why SJWs don't like The Witcher, because that woman is now on a quest to try and find some magic that will reverse that decision. And the SJWs are like, oh my God, she had an abortion so that she could become beautiful and have a career, right? And now she regrets it because she wants babies. And that makes us uncomfortable, and it makes us feel guilty about all of our abortion.
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
And just in time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just in
right
time.
in the nick of time. Right
Right
in the
in the
nick
nick
of
of time.
time.
She's concluded everything that she said, and we can move on to this incredible and pleasant. Like, I mean, yes, I support a woman's right to choose. I don't want to know that you did this. You chose to not have a child in order to take this role.
No
Well, I
comment
can- I
on. Wait.
Like I don't feel like I want to know. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I could-
Brian.
Well, I was just gonna say no comment on the fact that she's basically saying this on behalf of all women, like on behalf of women in general. That this is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're getting to that part. Actually, it's coming up. It gets somehow it gets even better. Somehow it
that's
gets
Better,
even
by
better.
better you mean
Well,
worse,
like
don't you?
I'm just looking at it like, I don't see anything admirable in it, right? And like I can understand the choice, right? I don't see any, and I can understand the value of some women speaking about it, about having made that choice, right? I understand the value of that in the sense that, it is a choice, it's an option out there. Having people talk about it is not necessarily a bad thing. But why? Why would you present this in front of an audience this size when collecting an award that you were only eligible for because you chose to have an abortion, right? Like It's like, would you have suffered, right? Would your life have been over, right? If you had chosen the other way, right? Oh, you wouldn't have gotten a Golden Globe for this role.
Because you would have missed
But
your chance to do it or something. Yeah.
No, but
yeah,
I get what Brian is saying too. She's also saying this award, which in some ways I guess reflects some aspect of the people who helped her along the way, but ultimately it's her reward.
she's
And
accepting it in the name of all women.
No,
Who are making
that's
choices or
yours. I
something.
don't want it. I don't, and I just, you're not accepting it in the name of me. Stop pretending like you're speaking for any other woman but yourself. I got into this long Twitter argument with this person who said that any man who treats a woman differently because she's a woman is sexist. So how is this woman going up and saying, I speak for all women, not sexist? What, you can't possibly speak for all women because all women are individuals with their own minds, their own desires, their own attitudes to what you did. And to be frank, you say that you want to say that you wrote your own life, but you write your life by accepting the consequences of your choices. And yeah, you chose that, but it seems like you think that you didn't choose to get pregnant in the first place. You didn't choose to have sex during a time when you knew that if you got pregnant, you wouldn't be able to keep it to term because you have to give it up for your career. Like
Yeah.
these are the choices you made. And fine, you chose to have an abortion, but you also chose to all of these steps up to and including getting pregnant. Getting pregnant was your choice as well.
Yeah.
Even though it was more of a balance of probabilities rather than a certainty.
Yeah.
But that's what's really irking me, is that she doesn't recognize that too. I mean, all of this was her choice. And it's fine. She has the right to have an abortion. She has a right to say, okay, I screwed up. I got pregnant. I made choices that led to me to have such a high probability of me getting pregnant that I got pregnant. And I had to rectify the mistakes I made by having an abortion because it was incompatible with what I wanted to do with my life. Nowhere is there a recognition to that. And that
Yeah.
actually a little bit disturbs me because it means that whatever errors she's making, she's going to repeat them and they're going to get worse as she gets older. And she probably, if she was listening to me now, she'd probably be just huffing with anger that I'm judging her and that I'm being mean. But I can tell you one thing: when women act like this toward their life gets worse and worse and worse. And the reason why is as you grow older, the men who you rely on to smooth out the consequences of your choice or to buffer you from them stop being willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to bear more and more of the consequences of your choices. And your life gets gradually worse and worse. And then you will blame the men who have stopped doing something for you instead of yourself for actually starting this whole process, starting to develop yourself with an understanding of the full consequences of your actions. And if you had understood that getting pregnant was a result of a series of choices that you made that were foolish and irresponsible, if you started with that, you wouldn't be there bragging about having the choice to abort. You would say, you know what? I got myself into this situation. I had to make a really difficult choice to get out of it, but I didn't do that for any other woman because it was my choice to get on. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about a situation, a pure situation where women have absolutely no choice to end up in it, sure, you can talk about how you did this for all women. This isn't what you're talking about. You
Yeah.
made the series of choices that led to a high probability of you getting pregnant. You had the choice to say, okay, I made mistakes. This wasn't what I wanted right now. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna proceed with what I want to do. But if you had looked at it that way, in the recognition that it was your mistakes that you were correcting, you would never present it in this manner, and you would never say that you're speaking for all women. And that's what irks me. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad we got that out. We're at the halfway point of the show, so I'm going to read the super chats Also, I'm going to ask you guys, please hit that like button on the stream. Don't do it for Michelle Williams. Don't do it for the Golden Globe. Don't even do it for her aborted fetus. Do it for Ricky Gervais. Hit the like button, and please do that. It's really good for our analytics. It helps other people know that we're online.
And
I see some new faces in the YouTube chat. That means that you guys either happened upon this, or maybe you were looking for it. I don't know, but I think hitting the like button is helpful. So please do it. Do it for Ricky, because he could die tomorrow by suicide for all we know. And it'll definitely be a suicide.
Also, send those super chats, because it's the only reason why YouTube keeps us on.
Yeah, the super chats are helpful as well.
And also, if any of you in the chat can contact V on Twitter, his handle is @not_VEE. And tell him that I'm no longer on Twitter, so I can't hit him up. But apparently, according to his live stream this morning, the YouTube analytics are essentially throttling my channel, so or the algorithms. So I'd really like to know. He said there was a study that was done, or some research that was done, and he didn't have the link at hand. But I'd really like to have that. But I can't contact him. He said, reach out to me on the Twitter.
Karen, let me just do that for you right now, because you could have asked me, because I still have the Twitters.
Okay.
At
right.
V, not V, underscore.
Not underscore V.
Not underscore V.
Yeah, DM him and ask him for the link to that research.
Well, I don't know if he even has me followed, but we'll see.
Okay, so I'm going to read the super chats. Okay, Exploding Pretty gives us $5 and says, is it a prerequisite to offer one child to Malak prior to receiving an award or prior to accepting a film role? Curious of the exchange rate, dude. Thank you for that. I'm not sure of which old deities Hollywood prays to. If you asked several of the people in rap groups such as Public Enemy, they would tell you it was Baphomet, but I don't know. Mr. Roboto gives us $2 and says, how long till Karen's Hollywood adventure estimate? Yeah, I don't know that that'll ever happen, because they don't know what to do with her. Mr. Roboto gives us another $2.
Karen? They don't know what to do with Karen? Just ignore her.
Yeah, Hollywood wouldn't know what to do with her if they had her.
From Twitter. Ban her. Ban her from Twitter.
Oh God. Yes, it's no, I don't think that's any good. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, and as for me ever going either, I think that I mean, well, of course, Karen has the larger platform, but I think that I don't think people even understand me outside of you guys. And I think a lot of the times you guys don't understand me either.
It's true. All right, Mr. Roboto gives us another $2 and says, why such low promotion of the female condom? You know what? The female condom is gross. I'm not crazy about it. I'd rather just put it on myself. I had sex with a girl with a female condom once. I felt like I was having sex with a plastic bag. You could hear it. You could hear it. It wasn't pleasant. So no.
It's like scritch, scritch,
yeah,
scritch.
Not good.
Yeah, no, it's not nice, and it's
plus she was cavernous, so there was actually an echo after every scritch. So I mean, it was just too much.
Oh,
not a fan.
TMI. But no, it's like it's much easier to it's no more difficult to insert a diaphragm, right, or a sponge than it is to insert a female condom. And the female condom, like I just find it to be like it's just completely unwieldy and it's not.
I mean, it works.
Yeah,
but it's not my first choice.
No, it wouldn't be my first choice or even my 10th choice as far as birth control goes. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, anyway, let's play the next 30 seconds of Michelle Williams' stunning and brave speech. God damn it! Hold on. I'm sorry.
And yours, but thank God, or whomever you pray to, that we live in a country founded on the principle that I am free to live by my faith and you are free to live by yours. So women,
what's your faith, honey? What's your faith? Because, Islam doesn't condone killing babies, killing the unborn. Christianity doesn't condone killing the unborn. Judaism doesn't condone killing the
Neither does
unborn.
Buddhism.
Buddhism doesn't condone killing earthworms, let alone the unborn.
Wiccans often can be pro-choice too. People don't know that.
Well, Wiccans.
Well, no, sorry, pro-life.
Yeah, like I don't know what faith you're ascribing to, right? But you know, one of the tenets of most faiths is that human beings are special and human life is sort of revered. It's sort of one of those fundamental things, right? You know, like barring the tribalistic nature of religions and stuff like that, even the Christians during the Crusades had to convince themselves, right? The Christian knights, the Templars, had to convince themselves that by killing their enemy, they were saving their souls, right? That this was something that, you know, that was ultimately beneficial to the lives that they were taking, right? In order to actually be able to talk themselves into doing it, right? Because most religions see human life as something incredibly special, right? Something incredibly
I just realized
sacrosanct.
what she means. She means feminism. That's her faith.
Oh my fucking god! Oh
no,
my
but and actually, I realized listening to you another point I wanted to make. She had this abortion because she wanted something else for her life. Like it was an entirely selfish choice. I'm not going to say that she didn't have the right to do it, but it's a selfish choice. She made the decision that she wanted the career and ultimately this reward more than she wanted to give birth to a child, and that's entirely selfish. But what's interesting to me is that she has to reframe it as some kind of spiritual blow for all of womankind. And you know why she does?
Sacrificed that baby for our benefit.
For the benefit of all womankind.
Yeah.
You know why she does? Is because she's not comfortable with her decision. She actually, there's a part of her that likely really hates herself for it. And she needs to project that somehow it's of a benefit to other women in order to lessen the psychological impact of this. Why does so she is projecting her discomfort with it onto other people, basically. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, like speaking of V again, right? Because he did a law degree, and then when he realized that there were too many lawyers in Romania and not enough jobs for them, he went to med school. And one of the things that he was taught in med school in Romania was that when you, this is true of C-sections as well, right? Not C-sections during labor, but C-sections that are scheduled to occur before labor, before the onset of labor. But also true of abortions is that what happens is a chemical process, a hormonal process in the female's body that essentially it's like her body is trying to understand, why am I not pregnant anymore? Right? It's like it went from a state of being pregnant, but through no natural process went into a state of not being pregnant. And so you actually have a situation where in Romania, doctors are trained to, after abortions and after C-sections, to go and ensure that the mother is not having suicidal thoughts. They're literally put on suicide watch. Okay. In the hospital after the fact, because of this hormonal process in the body where the body is trying to grapple with the fact that it's not pregnant anymore when everything when there was no natural process of becoming not pregnant that happened, right? So you're looking at something that, you know, in Romania, they're like, okay, so there's this psychological extreme negative psychological response to abortion and cesarean section, right, that can occur in women. that is just solely due to the hormone profile of being pregnant and then suddenly being not pregnant, right? Um, and we aren't even willing in the United States to discuss the fact that this might exist.
Of course,
It
because there can be absolutely no, and I don't even
negative
understand why.
consequences to abortion.
Why is it that we can't even discuss any possible negative consequence to abortion? Like I would say that this individual having to project her choice as some benefit to other people in a ridiculous sequence of logic that makes absolutely no sense is an indication that she actually regrets it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and personally, there's times when I look at people and I'm like, why are you talking about this in public? Now I know you guys, you in particular, Karen, were like, oh, it's okay to talk about this stuff. I don't think that this woman should be talking for her own sake about this in public. So I think there's a
No.
lot of stuff that she's not resolved. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years if she's one of those people who is virulently anti-choice because of everything that occurred.
Yeah.
And it's like, and she's going to regret this particular video in public. And again, I'm pro-choice. Like I'm just saying that this looks like something that you will regret going down the road. If you
Yeah.
need to do this much work to justify it as a benefit to someone else, rather than simply saying, my life is my life. And if you were in that headspace of just saying, this is my
Here's
life.
why I did it, and it was
Here's why
to do.
Yeah, and if
I
you were
killed
in that
him for the
headspace,
insurance money, and no law prevented from doing it.
well, I
So,
mean, it's
just
regardless. If she was in that headspace of just taking responsibility for the choice,
Yeah.
actually taking responsibility for the consequences of her actions, she wouldn't talk publicly about it. She wouldn't turn it into a publicity fest
Yeah.
in order to make herself feel okay with it.
Yeah,
She's
no,
doing
that's
this because she's trying to make herself feel okay with it by pretending she did it for women everywhere. You
Yeah.
didn't. You did it for yourself. And
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
were okay with that, you would be okay with that alone in a bathroom, looking at your face as you're brushing your teeth.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
you wouldn't need to make it public.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if you made it public, it wouldn't be a big deal. It'd be like, yeah, I had an abortion.
Or maybe you wouldn't even be that flippant about it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would be something that you would just simply accept about the choices that you made. You might regret the fact that you made that particular choice, but you made it and you live with it.
Yeah. I made a mistake. I felt like this was the best choice available to me. It sucked, but whatever. Yeah.
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 But this is not the behavior of somebody who's really taking responsibility for their choice. Somebody
Yeah,
who
no,
that's the behavior for somebody who's foisting the responsibility of their choice onto a quote unquote faith that makes it about protecting or helping or benefiting all women.
Yeah.
So that's the real reason why she did it, so she doesn't have to face it. And it doesn't like it literally does not benefit or help all women. It doesn't.
No. I mean, like I said, I'm not like Hannah, right? Hannah is like, she's just staunchly pro-life, right? And I'm kind of like, I would never get an IUD. I would never take the morning after pill, right? I would never do those things, right? And that's part of, sort of my whole thing. There's nothing religious about it. It's just, when I look at the sequence of events that led to me existing and then led to my children existing, right? Where if I had sex 2 minutes later that particular evening or in a different position, I might still have a kid, but it wouldn't be the kid that I have, right? It'd be a different kid. I have to look at it like, I have to look at it in that sort of cosmic chain of events as being something really amazing that I was given and that my children were given, or the fact that they exist and that I exist. And if if any decision, if my grandparents had never met, I wouldn't exist. If some freaking prokaryotic bacillus in the primordial ooze in what is now Australia had been gobbled up by another one and not actually divided, right? And provided that 3.5 billion year ago ancestor of humans, right? None of us would exist, right? So I'm looking at it from the prospect of, like, to actually be born, to be conceived and be born is winning a cosmic lottery. It's winning a cosmic lottery for the squirrels outside that get sex mad and chase each other around the neighborhood, right? Without any concern for their own safety, right? It's the case for my dogs. It's the case for me. It's the case for my kids, my boyfriend. Every single living thing on this planet has won a cosmic lottery. And when I look at how many lotteries were not won, right? How many lotteries did not have a winner all through that entire process of evolution? I'm just like, do I have any right to take something that valuable away from anybody at all?
Yeah. Well, I just want to point out that this woman didn't have an abortion for me. She didn't have an abortion for Hannah. She didn't have an abortion for Karen. She had an abortion for herself, and she's not comfortable with it. So she has to pretend like it's some grand spiritual statement or moral statement. And it's not.
She drew a line in the sand and said, "Fuck this baby. He's got to go."
Oh man, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years from now she's like staunchly pro-life and she's speaking out against abortion with this amount of discomfort for it. And that's the other thing. I mean, it's like if you make the choice, live with it. The end.
There you go.
Next clip.
When it
Yes.
is time to vote, please do so in your own self-interest. It's what men have been doing for years.
For some context, she's saying women, when it's time to vote, vote in your own best interest because it's what men have been doing for years.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's this hilarious thing, right? Because we literally have a situation where, and I was on some Reddit left-wing male advocates or something like that, or no, purple pill debates, right? And I'm schooling this fucking lawyer on coverture laws, and she's like, "Oh no, I actually believe that the husband's obligations under coverture were just necessary in order to justify depriving the wife of right to property and income." Right? That's, and I'm like, okay, so we literally had in 1870 in the UK, the women got property rights in marriage, right? And the last of the coverture rights in the US, the coverture entitlements of women, dower rights, right, that were still gendered at the time, the last of those obligations on the part of men died in 2016. They were stricken from the laws in Michigan in 2016, right? So you tell me, right? Who's that when you make a contract between men and women, right? Like coverture, and you absolve women of all of their obligations over the course from 1870 onwards, all of their obligations under coverture, you've absolved them of, right? You've removed all of their handicaps. And essentially by 1972, okay, and or no, later than that, you've removed them all. A little bit later than that. Wait, no. You've removed all of their obligations by 1972. And it's only in 2016 that men are released from the last of their obligations under that contract. Which of the parties do you think that contract was designed to compel?
And
It
then the other
wasn't the
thing is,
people you let walk away from.
she seems to be under the impression that men have a right to choose, and even if she thinks that men voted for their own interests, why didn't they vote in a financial abortion
Yeah,
and simply say, well, all the man has to do to walk away from a child he doesn't want is sign a piece of paper
yeah,
as soon as he's informed. You go up to a man and you say, this is your kid, and if the test results come back positive, he simply says, nope,
don't want it.
I'm metaphorically throwing this kid in a dumpster.
Yeah.
Sorry, lady. Bye.
Mhm.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. And you would, if society was constructed for the benefit of men, if men really did prioritize their own benefit and the benefit of other men, that's exactly what they would do. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into the argument of, oh, is a financial abortion equivalent to an actual abortion? There's no even point of talking about that argument. If we lived in a society in which men voted in their own interests, we would have a financial abortion, and we might not even have a real abortion.
Yeah.
There. It's like this is the most ridiculous assertion, the most easily refuted assertion possible. And I try to get into the headspace where it makes sense that the
No.
world is made for the benefit of men
No.
when men never seem to vote in their own interests. There are no parties. I mean, you talk about men's issues politically on the political landscape, it's like it's almost like insta death for any political aspirations to talk about in any way that men need anything.
Yeah.
It's political death. It's political suicide. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to get into the headspace where it makes sense that men have constructed society for their own benefit. And the only way it makes sense is if you have this imaginary vision of the world that's constructed entirely for the benefit of women. And the fact that the world does not resemble that, and it's just entirely constructed out of candy floss and unicorn tears.
Yeah. No. If as long as the world is not a utopia for women, then
It's made for men.
Yeah.
By men.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, in this instance, if men really voted in their own interest, there would be a financial abortion.
Yeah.
It might not be actual abortion, but there sure as hell would be a financial abortion. There'd be so many, like I'm thinking, maybe men should elect me the grand poobah of patriarchy, because I think I could do a hell of a better job making sure that everything's slanted for the benefit of men. There's all kinds of changes that I would make, like making the draft woman only, making financial abortion, but no actual abortion.
Yeah.
Making it so that female rape victims are told that they should feel thankful for the
Oh
holy
no,
schlong.
actual abortion, but when the man wants it.
Exactly. Let's make
Yeah.
it some actual abortion, but only when the man wants it. Let's
Yeah.
make it so that instead of giving female victims of sexual assault any option to have reprisal, let's tell them instead that they were lucky to receive male attention,
Yeah.
because that's what we do to boys.
Yeah.
We don't, like, there's almost no way for a male victim of sexual assault by a woman to get any kind of justice. I mean, I think it might be improving, at least in the places where male rape victims are recognized as victims.
Mhm.
But let's and to anybody who's gonna like take
Yeah, but
this out of context,
and
I
yeah,
don't advocate for this stuff.
No.
Even though
but-
I'm probably one of the, like, I am probably the head of the only men's rights organization that actually is salaried in the world. The only one. And I would not pursue this. All I want is equality.
Yeah. No, it's like you look at rape, right? The issue of rape, female on male rape, that's only just starting to be recognized, right, in the literature and in criminology and in statutes, right? Statutorily, right? But what did we have? We had examples of female on male rape and female on male attempted rape. This discussed in the Bibles. We had Potiphar's wife, we had Lot's daughters, right? We had those examples discussed in the Bible, but no actual prohibition in the Bible against it, even though there were prohibitions against raping a woman.
Next
That
clip.
actually was it was a death penalty offense.
I'm not going.
let's go to the
I
next
haven't
clip.
gone anywhere. Next clip. Okay.
It's what men have been doing for years, which is why the world looks so much like them. But don't forget, we are the largest voting body in this country. Let's make it look more like us. Tommy and Matilda, I can't wait
you
to come
fucking
home
whore.
today.
You fucking whore. The only reason why you are the largest voting bloc in the country is because you were gifted first-class superior citizen status when you gained the vote without the reciprocal obligations and duties to the state that men had. Not just the draft, posse comitatus, bucket brigades, hue and cry laws, right? Men could be conscripted by any official, a fire marshal, a sheriff, the federal government, right? That was what they paid in the reciprocal duty to the state for their sometimes not always easily exercised right to fucking vote. You fucking bitch. Like, you have no fucking clue. And then you're like, we're living in a situation where women can dictate the law and then demand that men enforce it, armed and at risk of their lives. So let's do it. That's justice.
Yeah,
Christ.
I know. It's what do you do? I mean, and when I look at this, I realize exactly what it is. When so essentially there's two different orientations, what they call gender expression orientations, the masculine and the feminine. The masculine is instrumentalizing, so you see yourself in terms of a tool to achieve a goal, and the feminine is reactive, expressive reactive. So you feel that you have been acted upon and you express that. And of course, when you're in that mindset as a woman and you identify with it, you need to compel other people who are instrumentative to take wake up and take responsibility for the expressions that you've made and deal with them. That's how you see the world. And that's all this is they've developed this kind of mythology that essentially says all of the instrumentive, all of the masculine orientated people, that includes masculine women, that you need to pay attention to our expression and you need to deal with it because you owe us, because you've constructed the world and to resemble those people who uh see themselves in terms of working towards a goal. I mean, yes, we constructed the world
Yeah,
because
and
we see ourselves in terms of working towards a goal. Who
it's
else
like
would be constructing it?
it's like you once said, and I just remember it because it was worded so brilliantly. It's like feminists see women as the substrate upon which men write their actions.
Yep.
Fun fact. This is the end of the clip, by the way. Michelle Williams is done after this. She has a daughter. And yes, she does have a daughter from Heath Ledger, actually. She is currently engaged.
This is that woman.
Yes.
Oh,
She has a daughter from Heath Ledger, and when she was with him, so she was with him from 2004 to 2007. I don't know how old her daughter is, but the daughter's at least 10. No, and I would say 10, but maybe like 12.
Oh, fuck! So now she's gone on.
What?
She's gone on TV and told her daughter If
that
if
she's
getting
lucky.
pregnant with you had been something that would have made me not get a role that won me an award, I would have aborted you. That's literally what
Yes.
she's just told her daughter.
That's what I brought it up. That's why I brought it up.
Oh
She
my
has it.
fucking god. Oh my fucking this is as bad as the woman, right? She was part of a pro-abortion rally in Victoria in front of the Parliament building there, and the provincial Parliament building. And she gave a speech about how she's burdened with this atrociously bothersome 6-year-old daughter who is extreme special needs because the abortion doctor didn't do his job well enough and the baby survived. And now I'm stuck with this daughter who has all of these problems from the procedure, right? That she'll never be able to take care of herself, and now I'm stuck with her. And it's the abortion doctor's fault, and this is a travesty, and I'm suing him for malpractice because now I'm stuck with this burden. And I'm thinking I hope your daughter is so fucking brain damaged that she can't understand what you're saying. That's my only and it's sad that is the best case scenario, is that your daughter is so brain damaged by what you did, right, that she can't understand what you're saying about her and how you feel about her. Because that is just disgusting. And this reminds me of that.
Yeah, it's because her daughter's probably like 12 or something like that, based on the dates. I don't know for sure. I'm glad I can't find much info on her, because she should probably remain in a private individual, especially considering her age. But if her daughter doesn't think that was weird, what she said on the stage, like maybe it didn't sink in or something like that, considering the response from the people who saw this clip, like for example the clip I was playing that you guys can't see because we're trying to not get sued or whatever it is that Dick Clark could do to us, it was heavily ratioed, like a lot of dislikes, not a very popular video, a lot of negative comments. They know what bothered them about this, and it was basically this statement. And a lot of the people in the comments, by the way, pro-choice. So this isn't a partisan thing. This is people that are bothered by the statements that she made. And so I think that if her daughter didn't get the message from her mom, she will see it from the discussion around her speech. This is probably another reason why, to what Alison was saying, she probably shouldn't have shared this info. This is like immediately regrettable commentary. Just thank your God, thank your agent, and fuck off. This is
it is immediately regrettable commentary. And I'm just looking at this because you just cued it in who this woman is. So she was the one who I'm not going to say she killed Heath Ledger, but Heath Ledger's death is suspiciously quickly after she split with him and kicked him out of her house, or out of their house, and then kept his daughter from him, at least during Christmas. So I know that his death wasn't ruled a suicide, but considering what he was mixing and people telling him that he shouldn't do it.
Yeah. If you're going to do a whole ton of drugs, then that is it's self-destruction at least, right?
Yeah, it's self-destruction. It's chosen self-destruction.
Yeah, but it's also, if people were telling him don't mix those drugs and he did it, then, don't mix those drugs because it'll kill you. And then he goes and does it. One might possibly extrapolate from that he intended to kill himself because he had been told that this particular combination of drugs would do that.
Or he was just so desperate to end the pain that he didn't care. So, I mean, this that, I mean, you can't talk about the culpability here in creating a situation where Heath felt like he had to take a cocktail of drugs to make the pain stop, with not being able to see her daughter. Although, I mean, now it's starting to seem more like a disturbing pattern of behavior.
Oh, all I know is that when my man's ex cut off his contact with his daughter, he sat on a fucking bridge until a homeless guy talked him down.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a little bit, it's a little stretching things. They ruled it an accidental death, but of course you also have situations where they don't want the family to feel like, they don't want stigmatized, they want to keep it out of the press. But really, the amount of drugs he was taking, he had to know that that was incredibly dangerous to do. And he had his sister telling him not to mix these drugs, and he did it anyway. Now, that may not be a deliberate suicide, but it's certainly being in a state of mind that he doesn't care if he wakes up. Because if you care if you wake up, you don't mix all of these drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's a desperation and a pain. I mean, he may not be like, oh yeah, I'm going to 100% die tonight, but he's willing to chance the 90%.
Yeah.
And that is unsettling. And the fact that that this happened after he wasn't able to see his daughter, because the Williams took her, without consideration for either daughter or Heath. It's starting to fill out the picture of someone who would have an abortion, and talk about it
and
publicly,
brag about
despite
it
knowing that
publicly.
that her daughter will see this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be fascinated, like in like 20 years. If I'm still alive, I probably will be. I'm gonna be fascinated by, I mean, maybe I won't, but whatever. By Matilda's tell-all. That's their daughter, Matilda.
Matilda.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Oh,
gonna be interesting to see what
yes.
Matilda has to say about her mother.
Matilda, what she has to say about Mommy Dearest here.
She'll
Yeah.
say
Yes.
we live in a society, Allison.
Yeah. We
She'll
live in a society.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my
No, but
fucking God.
we're thinking like Matilda, who's being subject to Michelle's selfishness here.
Yeah.
What she's gonna have to say about it. When she's old enough to start talking about these things, because right now I think she's 12.
Yeah.
But this is like, and that does actually make it worse, because I was just saying, this is just something that, I don't know why you're making this public, lady.
Yeah.
But now she's making it public despite having a kid.
Yeah.
And the intelligence of this is rapidly dwindling.
Yeah, no, and the circumstances around the kid's father's death being such that, like, why would you?
Yeah, why would you be taking that cocktail of drugs thinking you're gonna survive?
No, but just no. Why would you speak about? Yeah, I killed my baby for to have a career. I was willing to do that for my
To have a
career.
career.
Yeah,
I was willing
and
to sacrifice this kid for, and like I said, I mean, originally I was thinking, okay, this is something she's just gonna regret in 10 years.
yeah, I don't
But
think
now
she
it's
is.
starting to feel more like a character trait.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's. I don't
Poor
think she's
fucker.
gonna regret it in 10 years. I think
Mhm.
she's gonna.
And this is incidentally, this is
When her
the
daughter kills herself, then it's gonna be. Oh, I had no idea she was even depressed.
well, of course you didn't, because you probably never
Yeah.
asked her. She was just a convenience for you.
How is this
a
men's
mirror to
fault?
reflect yourself. But it's like this, and to know that her daughter is probably also dealing with the fact her father's dead.
Yeah,
And now her brother, who could have been,
or
or
sister.
that now she has to deal with that too. That possibility
Yeah,
too. Let's just heap some more
yeah,
conflict onto this poor kid.
yeah. Like let's just
Let's keep
tell
heaping
her
it.
that yeah, Mummy is the only one. And Mummy will kill anyone who gets in the way of
Of Mummy's wishes.
Yeah.
Though what I'm saying is the kid is probably just a mirror for her mother,
Yeah.
and where she doesn't function in that role, she just gets screamed at. So
I don't know if there's any abuse going on. The kid's probably being raised by a nanny anyway.
yeah,
So.
you probably.
Well, I mean, she's
But
got to
anyway.
she's got to do that role. I mean, she doesn't have time for new babies or old ones.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Actually, you're right. She's raising a 12-year-old,
yeah.
and she doesn't have
Well,
like
she
she's,
has
she's talking about
she's engaged
career
to a
balance.
guy who's probably raising her child, even though it's not his. So he might be involved. I forget the guy's name, but she's engaged to somebody. And she doesn't have any kids with him. And by the way,
Good
he's
fucking
probably
luck to that guy.
Yeah, he's probably the guy that would have been the father to the baby that she aborted so that she could win the award. So imagine
I
being
guess
that
he's not allowed to
dude
have any
where you're
opinion.
like raising someone else's child and your child gets aborted so she can get her Golden Globe.
Okay, and this guy is he probably doesn't have any right to have an opinion about this abortion.
No.
Just,
And most
just
likely
happiness that she's fulfilled what she wants.
And it's highly likely that he himself says, "Oh, hey, baby, I don't have an opinion on that. I'm a good male feminist ally. So I'm not going to say anything. It's your body, your choice, 100%."
I'm totally a Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, but even that's almost impossible because men's bodies go through changes too during pregnancy. So he would have been hormonally keyed to something as well. So would have had some kind of emotional. It would have some kind of emotional impact. So he's swallowing it and stoically abiding by this whole woman's choice thing. It's so funny how feminists really require male stoicism all the time and yet deride it. I mean, it's like, you should be stoic. You should be stoic.
Yeah, you
And
don't have
also,
a right to voice an opinion. You don't have the right to even say you were sad that your wife aborted your kid.
Yeah, but you should suck everything up and you should be stoic. And the result of that, if you develop the idea that you only exist in order to benefit others, and then you suddenly come into a situation where you're depressed and feel like a burden and kill
That's
yourself,
toxic
that's your
masculinity.
fault too. That's your fault too because you sucked it up.
Yeah, you were toxically masculine.
You sucked it all up, and you should have told people. You should have told her about you being upset about your abortion or her abortion. You shouldn't have been so stoic. It's just, it's like men can never win.
Gross. It's
it's
like
gross.
Catch 22 in every fucking direction. There is no way that men can win at this game. They need to just stop playing. Like, if ever there was a better argument for MGTOW, I don't think it exists.
Yes, this is horrifying. Like, there's no consideration for the daughter, especially since she's already gone through an incredible trauma with losing her father to or not suspicious circumstances, which is made even more suspicious that the situation he was in is the primary causal the primary risk factor for men to commit suicide. Is relationship ending or relationship troubles, and then suddenly he's dead. Geez, that's really suspicious.
Particularly when there's kids involved.
Yeah, particularly when there's kids involved.
It's not just relationship breakup, it's family breakup that really.
And then suddenly this guy ends up dead, but his daughter has to deal with that fact, and now she's got a mother going out in public
bragging
about bragging about how she sacrificed a life or a potential life, if you want to go there, for her career. I am.
Could have been you, honey.
Could have been you.
Could have been you, Matilda.
Oh, Jesus. And then also not even considering the feelings of the man who she conceived with. And no doubt being a feminist who would, if he does, because he went through these hormonal changes as men do during pregnancy, and then suddenly it all ends and he goes through depression, but he has to suck it up and not talk about it to be stoic in order to support her choice. And then maybe later on he decides, you know what, I'm depressed. I don't know what's going on. I feel like a burden. I feel like the only possible solution to what's going on with me is to kill myself. He kills himself, and they'll be all like, oh, he's suffered from toxic masculinity because he did what they said.
Yeah, he did what he
was told. Until it killed him.
Yeah, and it's just like honestly, the older I get, the more pro-life I get. And it's not because I'm getting old, it's because I'm actually having to
Disgusted with them?
having to confront this stuff, right? And like back when I was younger, and it was just like, well, there are situations, accidents happen, and there's no reason really to have somebody's life be just indelibly altered, changed for the worse because of one mistake, because of one accident, blah blah blah, right? um but now this this attitude is pushing me in the other direction, right? Like I'm having to hold my nose more and more and longer, right? And like shove wadded Kleenexes up it and all of that in order to actually say
The rhetoric is making you pro
it,
life.
it's really really fucking gross. That
Yeah, I can
that
understand
one
that.
comedian woman, she's like, if you need an abortion, get one, and she's got a whole marching band behind her. You remember that?
I don't understand the
Yes,
attitude.
I
And well,
remember
actually,
that.
no, I do understand the attitude. They've turned abortion into sticking it to the man. They've
Yeah.
turned the act of conceiving into being oppressed by patriarchy,
Well, and
by
they
men.
think they think that pro-life men are in it to control women and to control women's bodies, right? And as long as they stick to that idea, right, that that's what is motivating this, they're never going to convince any pro-life man that that abortion is okay, right? Because like they act like the idea of a man who opposes abortion is acting in his own self-interest, when in reality, if men were acting in their own self-interest regarding abortion, they would essentially say no abortions unless the man wants it, right? They wouldn't say no abortions at all, because there are plenty of men who are like, yeah, I'm not ready for a kid, I'd like you to abort it, and they don't that's not their choice, right? But there are plenty of men out there who are like, yeah, I'm not ready to have a kid, I'm not ready to take care of a kid. So if it was about men's self-interest, abortion would be a man's choice, not a woman's choice.
Of course. All right, do we have any other comments we want to make about this, or should we go in the after
Oh
show
god,
now?
I'm so fucking done with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty done with the logic. I'm pretty done with the idea that somehow the world looks like men.
I just want to say poor Matilda.
Yeah, poor Matilda, poor Heath, poor whoever is the father of this child or this
Well,
abortion
yeah,
Fetus.
the father of that clump of
was the father.
cells.
Yeah, and none of this had to be revealed. Like you didn't have to throw all of this into the public. That was your
Mm-hmm.
choice. And of
Well,
course,
let alone essentially blame society for it and claim
and
you
then
were
say,
drawing a line in the sand for all women.
yeah, you didn't have to make this public. And I'm sure that she's going to complain. If she ever listened to this, she would complain that we're misogynist for pointing out that there are more people involved in this than just you.
Yeah.
And at the very least, if you had to make this choice because it just wasn't right for you, or maybe whatever reason,
Just say,
just keep it out of the public eye so they
yeah.
don't have to be involved.
Or if you're gonna say it publicly, just tell it like it actually is. You didn't do this for all women everywhere. You did it for yourself. You acted in your own self-interest, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't care about who it hurt, right? Because hey, there are awards to be won, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just
Just
don't
own it.
don't pretend to be moral for
Mm-hmm.
doing
And
it.
just accept the consequences. And one of those consequences to your actions is the fact that we correctly pointed out that this affected way more people than just you. And you had no consideration. I mean, I'm not saying that you necessarily have to have it so that your partner is the one who makes the decision, but maybe some consideration for his feelings on this matter?
Yeah,
Unless he gave her the okay to do this.
and announcing it publicly. How can you not think that that's hurting your daughter?
Yeah.
To know that her existence, you could have just snuffed it out because of convenience, and you would have if she had happened at a different point in your career.
Mm. Okay, so with that
Nothing beats
incredibly
the mother's
uplifting
love,
thought,
though.
with that incredible, and the her mother is the only thing she has left too.
Mm.
With that incredibly uplifting thought, so I mean, Matilda not only has to deal with that, she has to deal with the fact that her father died under suspicious circumstances when she was a very young child, and apparently he quite liked her, loved her, and very much wanted to be with her. But mommy knows best. So let's do we have any further super chats?
No further super chats. Nope. It's been, I mean, people, obviously engaged with the content, but no more super chats, which is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
no,
let's do the
it's.
after
I think it's because the freaking content is excruciatingly depressing. Is probably why. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
I think I
just
gotta
sign
I gotta
off.
mix
And
some drugs here to get over this.
yeah, no, I'm gonna actually. I might
Go
like
take some
drop a
Xanax,
whole.
some alcohol, some
Yeah,
insomnia
no, I'm gonna
pills.
wash down about 8 Tylenol with a half a
Well,
bottle.
we're gonna go.
Not really, but
We're gonna
Yeah.
go into the after show then, right? And
And
talk
update on
about
V,
something.
he
Oh yeah.
sent that study on the algorithm. So yeah, we
oh,
can talk about the
awesome.
algorithm. We're gonna talk about the new guy, the positive meme in the after show.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. A palate cleanser, as it were.
I
And if
like
you
the
want
new
to join
guy.
us and make sure this show continues to be on the air, you can go to feedthebadger.com and become a subscriber, and you'll get access to the after show. You'll also get access to the Discord. In fact, you have to really get into the Discord to be able to access the after show archive. And I really recommend it because the Discord is where the magic happens. I'm there regularly. Um, Karen is regularly on the after shows. Brian is there regularly. Hannah's there hanging out and talking to people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want to see more of us, go to that Discord, and we are actually very frequently on it. So please consider that if you want to keep this show going. We do exist because of the generosity of the people who fund us, and we wouldn't exist otherwise because YouTube demonetizes us constantly, and we're a little bit too spicy for advertisers. So once
Mm-hmm.
again, that's feedthebadger.com. All right, Brian, take us out.
All right. Well, if you guys enjoyed this content, please give us a like if you didn't do that already. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications and leave us a comment. Tell us what you guys think about this video clip. Maybe there's some additional commentary you want to add that we didn't, or is there some opinions that you guys might have? Maybe you disagree with some of the things. Please just leave us a comment and let us know what you guys think. With that said, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for coming on the Rantzerker. Thank you, Alison and Karen, for setting this up, and we'll talk to you guys in the next show.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too.
Yes.
Holy shit, you're fucked.